Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Thanksgiving morning to you all. Hope you guys are doing well out there, feeling fantastic. Whatever you may be doing, whether you're making some last-second preparations, cooking up a storm in the kitchen, loading up the car, about to travel somewhere, whatever you may be doing. I hope you are doing it well. I know that Thanksgiving morning can be a little stressful when you're, preparing all this stuff and things like that. But just take a deep breath and realize that by the time you get to this afternoon, you'll look back at the craziness of the morning and say, man, this was really worth it just to sit down and be able to be with friends and family and eat some good food. So with that being said, I just want to say how thankful I am for each and every one of you folks out there that have given me this platform to talk about what I love, to really kind of just let loose my passion, which is the weather. So thank y'all. I'm always big on appreciation, but especially on a day like today, it being Thanksgiving, where we all should be, thankful for everything that we have. We should be thankful every single day, right? But today is certainly the day where you really, really want to show it more than ever. So I'm very thankful for each and every one of you. Thank you for giving me this platform to talk about what I love. I really appreciate and love each and every one of you folks. So just want to throw that out there. But we're here to talk about the weather. We're going to break it down for you folks. Some high impact weather across the western U.S., the Rockies, really. It's going to be a white Thanksgiving for a lot of folks. If you're not waking up to snow in some certain areas, maybe by the time that you're settling down this evening, gnawing on a turkey leg or something like that, the snow might be falling depending on where you're at. But for a lot of country, it's pretty quiet. But for certain areas, it'll be quiet today, but a little bit different tomorrow. But we're really going to focus in on today because I know a lot of people, don't have 35, 40 minutes to talk about or to hear about what's going on over the next couple of days because everybody's got stuff to do today. So anyways, with that being said, if you folks have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. And if you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put those in the comments below. Let's get rocking and rolling this morning. See if this is going to work. It is. We're good to go. If you look down here, we got some moisture down here in Texas. All right, this is falling in the form of rain, especially deep down in South Texas. But if you look right here where, you're seeing a lot of white, this really isn't falling in the form of rain, just some high moisture in the atmosphere. But this big, area in this region right into here, we do have actual snow, maybe some lower elevation rain, but the snow levels could drop. Just depends on where you are, guys. The Rockies is tricky. If you've never been out west, and I haven't, but I know a little bit enough about this area to know that there's plenty of microclimates out there driven off elevation driven regions. So it just depends on where you are, how much snow you see, but we know we do have a system moving in with the upper trough that's pivoting its way into the western U.S. and ahead of it we got a lot of moisture getting brought into the region. This is going to fall in the form of an all-out winter storm across Wyoming, and eventually later on today we'll move into northern Colorado and begin to take over areas of Utah, even some snow in northern areas of Nevada. And it's already snowing this morning in sections of southern Montana and areas of Idaho. So eventually, this moisture is going to swing down into this region, and we're going to get some snow in Kansas, Oklahoma, maybe eventually into Missouri or Illinois, maybe areas of the Midwest. We'll talk more on that in the next video. But yeah, this is an interesting little event. Some areas will see their first snow of the fall season, it looks like. So moving forward, looking at what's actually falling out there right now, we'll get this back in motion here. There is showing some light returns of some snow in South Dakota. I'm not sure if much of this is hitting the ground, but I would bet here in southwest South Dakota, this is hitting the ground in the form of some light to moderate snow. You see this nice little spin down here in South Texas. It's raining pretty good. It's definitely a damp start to your morning here in South Texas, maybe a little bit of rain moving into the coastal regions of Louisiana. But I think that this will fall apart throughout the day as this system really gets kind of sheared. But snow is falling in southern Idaho. There is some winter storm warnings up. Where there's not winter storm warnings up, there's winter weather advisories for a little bit less snow, but some snow is falling in the higher elevations of northern Nevada. Moisture will begin to take over most of northern Utah later on today, and basically the entire state of Wyoming, and eventually areas of western Nebraska a little bit later today for your Thanksgiving. So I think that, Friday is more so your day for the state of Colorado. And then, I would say western Kansas, it moves in more so Friday night, but we'll speak more on that in the next video, but we will give you some information on kind of the entire winter storm at the end of the video. So I got you covered there. But the rest of the country is pretty quiet. We had a little bit of lake effect snow action overnight off some of the Great Lakes over here, but it's kind of dwindled away now. But we'll see this kind of re-amplify a little bit later tonight into tomorrow morning. But as far as storms, guys, there's nothing to speak on. No thunderstorms are forecast today. Just it's a pretty chill environment. Nothing that supports any kind of thunderstorm development. And the same thing with excessive rainfall, guys. There's no threat of flash flooding today. I would say that more snow falls out there than rain falls today. It'll fall, precipitation more so will fall in the form of snow is what I'm trying to say. And speaking of snow, check this out. Winter storm warnings in the pink, winter weather advisories in this purple color, and this teal color, that's winter storm watches ahead of the system. So that's 3 or 4 counties in Colorado and a good chunk of Kansas and a few counties. And Nebraska have winter storm watches. I think that accumulating snow will absolutely fall in a good chunk of Kansas, except maybe southeast Kansas, and certainly in western areas in Nebraska. And I think we can get some accumulating snow. In fact, the National Weather Service says we will in the panhandle of Oklahoma and the far northern counties of the panhandle of Texas. But, we got to see how this gets going today. It's going to be interesting how this really expands over Wyoming and then eventually drops further south. Even like Salt Lake City, guys, could get maybe an inch of snow overnight. So let's talk about the southeast first. Work our way through the video like we always do, from east to west. A lot of people say, man, why don't you work your way west to east? That's where the weather comes from. And that's a good point, but, we just stick to our guns here. But this morning, some showers could make their way all the way up into the southern Louisiana area, but it's not going to be a washout. Some showers could kind of drift a little bit deeper into Texas, but we'll talk more on that here in a second. But the rest of the southeast, guys, not a whole lot going on. Some showers could greet you along the coastal sections later this evening of Florida, the panhandle of Florida. Maybe around Mobile, you could get some light rain showers in southern areas of Mississippi. Some showers could make their way all the way into northern Louisiana. And then as we're getting into the overnight hours, more of a consolidated area of rain could move into the panhandle, Big Bend areas of Florida, the coastal regions of Georgia and low country of South Carolina could wake up to some light rain. Very possible to greet your Friday morning if you're doing any early morning shopping for the Black Friday sales. You might get greeted by some shower activity, Jacksonville, maybe Tallahassee, things like that. Northeast, quiet Thanksgiving, enjoy it. Cool. We get into this afternoon, not a whole lot going on. Then some showers could make their way into New York State. Could be in the form of some snow showers overnight in the northern sections like the Adirondacks of New York. Some snow showers could, and some flurries could reach and make their way into western areas of Maine, northern Vermont, New Hampshire. And then we could get some lake effect snows that begins to pop off areas of Lake Ontario. Rochester could see some snow just with the orientation of the flow out here. Maybe it's a little bit of snow shower activity you're waking up to for your Friday morning for the northern Finger Lakes region. And we'll see how this looks in the morning. This could drop a couple inches of snow in certain areas. It just depends. We got some big time streamers coming off Lake Huron. So we'll see how this works. The south central U.S., we kind of talked a little bit about the rain already, but, I really think these widespread rains in South Texas will kind of dwindle away. Could still be dealing with some rains up the Texas coastline. Houston today could be an on and off kind of shower day, but definitely not a washout, I don't think. And then some more showers could develop in northern Louisiana later this evening. Monroe, Shreveport, definitely possible. Jackson, some showers overnight. And then waking up tomorrow morning with just some light rain showers possible in areas of Louisiana. But as you notice, your snow is beginning to enter the picture up here in northwest Kansas. We're going to speak on this system here in a second. Beginning to overspread. We're going to talk about Colorado and Nebraska, but snow is beginning to enter the picture up here near, where is that? I think that's like Goodland and Colby and Oakley, Kansas. Some snow is starting to greet you guys for your Friday morning. So no snow today for Kansas. But it's going to be a different story as we're waking up tomorrow morning for Colorado and Kansas. The north central U.S., pretty quiet day. There is a chance for some snow streamers off Lake Superior that can make their way into the central and more so eastern UP of Michigan. So some light snowfall accumulations initially with this, and then you could get some hefty snowfall, lake effect snows coming off Lake Superior, kind of making their way from the northwest to the southeast throughout the eastern sections of the UP. And I mean, you can get a couple inches of snow overnight, waking up to a white ground, very possible. Even Lake Michigan, waking up to some snows, some light to moderate snow coming off, basically that lake effect energy coming off a Lake Michigan. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, looking as far as how much snow could fall, a couple inches of snow could fall in central to the eastern UP of Michigan. It's very possible. A dusting in the western UP is very possible. And then you're waking up to maybe a dusting of snow, half inch, maybe an inch in northern Michigan. But, you know, if you're traveling up here later tonight, you know, definitely be aware of some of this lake effect snow. But I'm sure you guys can handle this. It's definitely not a big deal for you folks at all. So moving forward to the western U.S., definitely some snow already falling out there for southern areas of Idaho. Certain areas have a winter storm warning. Kind of, you know, it just depends on elevation. You know, that you'll get more snow if you're higher up, a little bit less snow if you're kind of in the lower elevations. But even in the lower elevations, it's a colder storm. You know, you're certainly seeing some snow, but some snow will fall down here in the northwest favored areas of northeast areas. Sorry, I was getting a phone call on my phone below and it kind of distracted me. But the northeast section of Nevada will see some snow, some accumulating snow. But, you know, this really begins to take over the state of Wyoming throughout the afternoon and evening. So if it's not snowing this morning in Wyoming, there's a good chance that most of Wyoming will begin to see the flakes start to fall by the time that the sun is setting later on today, except maybe in the southern sections of Wyoming. You might not like Cheyenne. I think the snow moves in later this evening. I think that, you know, along that Interstate 80 corridor, the snow is just starting to sink in from the north, but a lot of precipitation begins to sink down into northern sections of Utah. Like, you know, right up the road from Salt Lake City, you know, in those higher elevations in the mountaintops, it is puking snow. But it will probably take a little bit longer in the city for it to switch to snow. But I think they are calling for a switch over to snow in Salt Lake City. Maybe a little bit, even some accumulating snow later on tonight. I've never heard anybody say that they're tuning in from Utah, I don't think. But let me know if you are. I would love to know, especially if you're in the Salt Lake City area. Utah is definitely a state where, you know, I know about it, but it's always great to know more just from people who are viewing. So let me know if you are viewing. But this continues. You know, we're starting to get to the 9 p.m. time frame. People settling down for the evening, and then a winter storm begins to take over western sections of Nebraska. You see the snow falling over here in Nebraska, begins to take over, snowing even, you know, maybe all the way down the North Platte. Certainly Scotts Bluff seeing some snow kind of on the western end of that Interstate 80 corridor. It's snowing in Interstate 76 region, Julesburg, and northeast Colorado. Snow's beginning to sink down. Greeley starting to see snow. Fort Collins, Cheyenne, Wyoming. It's snowing at this point overnight. And then we're waking up tomorrow morning and still snow falling. Denver's a tricky area. I think the National Weather Service out of Denver is calling for like 2 to 6 inches. Pretty wide range, right? So, you know, it's a little tricky. You're getting some, at this point, it's probably snowing tomorrow morning into Salt Lake City area. Snow levels have dropped even down to the city level. And, you know, you're waking up tomorrow morning, widespread snow falling across the Rockies, still snowing back in southern sections of Idaho, still snowing all the way into northern Colorado. And I think as we continue to move into tomorrow during the day, this is when we can get some heavier snow, especially for western Colorado. But it's definitely a wild card for areas of eastern Colorado. The models are a little bit different. So we'll see how widespread this gets. But, you know, speaking of how much snow could fall just between now and Saturday morning, you know, really heavy snow right up the road. And I'm zooming in on Utah here. Of course, the higher elevations of Utah are favored for more snow. Okay. What is that? I know, was that Kings Peak there? What did they call that mountain range here in this section right here of Utah? You guys let me know without me having to Google it. But, you know, a lot of areas could see snow in these regions right up here, especially in these higher elevations. But, of course, Utah is just like any state. And the out west, you know, it's elevation driven. So it just depends on where you are and how high up in elevation you are. But, you know, the higher elevations of Nevada could see snow, and certainly the higher elevations of southern areas of Idaho will see a lot of snow. And then, you know, we go up to our folks here in Wyoming. This will definitely be the epicenter of the heaviest snow We'll go all the way out to Saturday morning. I mean, look how much snow. Certain people will get 2 feet of snow, guys. 2 feet of snow. So this will definitely be a big state that sees a lot of snow. Just, it's going to be difficult to kind of, for me to spit out some names here, but, Casper, you guys are going to get a lot of snow, several inches. Cheyenne could, I think they're going for around 7 inches in Cheyenne, just kind of naming some of these lower elevations. Riverton, that's certainly an area that, where's Riverton? That it looks like, you guys could get maybe 8 to 12 inches of snow. So just trying to name a couple names here, but we'll go to, let's go to Nebraska. Nebraska between now and the next 24 hours. And we'll go on to take it out all the way to Sunday morning. A lot of snow in Nebraska, guys, with this entire event in the western sections of Nebraska. I mean, North Platte, guys, could even get a couple inches of snow. But once you start to move west, snowfall accumulations really increase. And, Scottsbluff going for 6 to 8 inches of snow. Sterling, Fort Morgan, Colorado, 3 to 5 inches of snow. And you go back over to Colorado here. How much snow could you guys get? Denver's a tricky area. They're going for around 2 to 4 inches of snow. They're actually going for a low point in Denver of around 2 inches at this point. So I think that eastern areas of Colorado is going to be tricky. It really will. So if you're tuning in from that area, I would say that you got a higher chance of higher accumulations in northeast Colorado compared to southeast Colorado, as kind of there's a transition with the energy with this low pressure. But man, you start to get into the Rockies of Colorado, man, the snow is going to be, it's going to be coming down. So if you're spending Thanksgiving in the Rockies in Colorado, man, it's going to be a snowy one for sure, guys. So if you're into that kind of stuff, enjoy it. I know I am. I would love that. But, we go over to Kansas with this, guys. And this is between now and Sunday morning. Even a little bit of snow showing up in Kansas City. But, guys, this is going to be a nice event if you're a snow fan in Kansas. Okay, snow will begin to fall probably tomorrow morning. Goodland and Colby could be a jackpot area in Kansas that gets, a 4 to 6, 7 inches of snow. Bird City, St. Francis, you guys will be kind of the epicenter of the heaviest snow. But guys, even down in Dodge City, Garden City, 3 to 4 inches, 3 to 4, 5 inches of snow is possible from this. And you even get down to Oklahoma. Okay. Let's see if we can get down here. Oklahoma. Look at this, guys. This is the National Weather Service forecast. Oklahoma, Guymon, Boise City, Woodward. They're going for 1 to 2 inches of snow in Woodward, Oklahoma. Okay, Amarillo, I think you're a little bit too far south, but you get to the far northern counties of the Panhandle of Texas, 1 to 2 inches of snow. So it's an interesting little event that's definitely trended towards more snow, but it could trend the wrong way again, and just kind of look to see how this unfolds. Here it goes. You get into tomorrow morning. Light snow begins to move into areas of Kansas and Nebraska. And then it really becomes and gets more amplified, I would say, tomorrow morning across areas of the Panhandle of Oklahoma, western Kansas. And then by the time we're getting to Saturday morning, it's an all-out snowstorm across Kansas. And this continues. It looks like it loses a little bit of its steam. But, as we're getting into Saturday night, Sunday morning, guys, we could get a moderate snow event across areas of northeast Kansas, southern Iowa, and then northern Missouri. Maybe Columbia, Missouri sees a little bit of snow. Maybe St. Louis sees a little bit of snow. And then we're waking up Sunday morning to maybe some light to moderate snow across the Midwest. So we'll figure that out, get a little bit more detail on that when we know a little bit more. But it'll be definitely interesting. Here's more of a broad look at kind of the rest of the event based off the National Weather Service. And, we look at that and we compare it with the Euro forecast. And, it really does not like a lot of heavy snowfall totals. Well, no, I'm sorry. I had it on the wrong thing. My bad. But it really doesn't like southeast Colorado to see a whole lot. It says this thing's going to really amplify, and then Kansas could see more snow than areas of western Nebraska. But it likes a 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches of snow in areas of northern Missouri. So we got to watch this for sure, guys. So temperatures, a cool Thanksgiving, maybe a tick below average for a lot of the eastern U.S., so 50s, 60s, and you're locked into sub-freezing temperatures up here and the Dakotas and the Northern Plains, it's below freezing. It's going to be a very cold Thanksgiving up here in the Dakotas, Minnesota. You're not going to get above freezing in Minneapolis, northern areas of Wisconsin. I kind of went through this a little bit too quick. The entire UP of Michigan will not get above freezing today. It might just be flat out locked into the 20s, but not too bad in the Southwest. Not too bad at all. A little bit below average though. So that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Made it below 20 minutes. So y'all have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll talk to you soon. God bless.